So, I was on Twitter the other day, as I often am, and I mentioned that I picked up a couple of things from an eBay auction, and a response came back from someone saying that I didn't know there was merchandise for that. And I smiled quietly to myself, and I said to them, no, you're right actually, because it was quite low key and there wasn't that much of it. And I am of course talking about Babylon 5 merchandise. The eagle-eyed amongst you will have noticed, no doubt, that I am embarking on a rewatch of the series for the first time in many years, probably a couple of decades possibly. And I've decided to do reasonably structured reviews and sort of synopses of each of the episodes as I run through them, which is going to take me a while because I'm trying to release them at the same sort of pace that they came out, albeit without any breaks in between seasons. So in theory it might take 2 years for me to release all of them, so I'm kind of going to see how it goes. If I get them all in the bag, then I might start releasing them a bit faster. But in the meantime, and there are going to be spoilers here, okay? So if you're new to the series, I know, yeah, but you might be, then I would look away now and come back when you've actually watched all of it, because I'm not going to be as careful here as I am when I'm doing my episode reviews. I do try to be careful on those. It's fairly easy because I haven't seen it for ages and my memory's not what it used to be, so yeah, that's safer. So I haven't looked at a lot of these for a very long time. Some I'm getting new simply because they sort of leapt out at me for reasons I'll explain later. But a lot of them I have had for a very long time. Now, I'd like to just read you the back of this this DVD. This is the box set of season 1, and the DVDs from here are what I'm running through now. That's where I am in my process of running through the episodes. So season 1. This doesn't really happen, but it's nice. The artwork is really lovely. They've actually taken some time, some effort. It comes in an overall sort of surrounding box, which is here. Okay, and that gives you all sorts of the normal sort of DVD box. Now, I think this came out in about early 2000s, so it took quite a while to arrive actually. I mean, I used to have it on, sort of long play VHS tapes at the time. I can't have to remember when DVDs started, but it came quite a long while after the series. And I know that there is now a sort of an Uber box set which includes all of the Babylon 5 episodes and Crusade and the films. I have all of that separately. So I haven't actually indulged in the box set, although perhaps I should at some point. So this is season 1, Signs and Portents, says it there. So each season has an overall name, and that is taken, I think it's always taken from an episode during the course of that season. And what I like about this is that the discs have nice imagery on them. So that's one that's in my machine now. They've all got slightly different imagery on them as well, which is also attention to detail, which is nice. And there's a rather lovely booklet here in this edition, which takes you through the various episodes on the various discs. And I think that's a really nice touch. I think it's just the artwork, someone's really put a lot of effort, a lot of care into it. So it's really nice, because it's only it's only a sort of a plasticky DVD box set. They could have done nothing at all if they'd chosen to. And the way that Warner Brothers treats the series suggests that, at least now, they don't really give two hoots. But at the time, clearly somebody cared. And if you'll stick with me, I'm just going to read you the back of this, because I think this tells you a lot about the series and the way in which it was put together by J. Michael Straczynski, and this is dated July 2002. Looking back, gazing forward. On February 22nd, 1993, the first images of Minbari, Vorlons, Narns and Centauri, hitherto existing only in my head since roughly 1988, were broadcast across the United States. For 10 years, those images have cruised outward at the speed of starlight, offering stories of empires rising and falling, wars and discontent, heartbreak and joy, and the stubborn nobility of the human being singular. The stories were designed to inform us, at the rate of 24 frames per second, that the individual matters, that people of conscience can shape the world and future if we simply choose to do so. We were told by those who knew such things that in the fickle television marketplace, the odds of our successfully completing the 5-year run needed to tell our story in full fell between slim and none. That an audience would not wait for 5 years for plots to be resolved, viewing attention spans were not up to the task. We were told many helpful things. They were wrong. The arc was finished, the story told in full. Now, through this DVD set, the first chapter in Babylon 5 is gathered in one place, with additional material as a thank you to the millions of viewers who kept this show on air to its completion. It testifies to their belief in our story and to the hundreds of cast and crew people who struggled so diligently to see it finished. As noted in the series, faith manages. It's very JMS. I like that a lot. He was online a lot, as I mentioned in my beginning video for my Babblecom 5 series of videos. He was always around online. I met him in person at least a couple of times. Always very, very genuine, and he's always come across as very, very genuine online and in real life. There's a nice picture of me looking far, far younger than I am now, and him looking far, far younger than he is now, of course, buried in the midst of that video. So if you want to giggle, you can have a look at that. But for me, this was my first fandom, I think. I was into Star Trek, don't get me wrong, I was into Next Generation about the same time, really. And I was into lots of stuff before that. I was into the Jerry Anderson shows, Space 1999, check out my Lego Ideas, thank you. All of that sort of good stuff. But because it hit me at an age where I was just starting to go to university, I was able to be more involved in the sort of the physical fandom, if you like, than I'd ever been before. And so, for me, it's got a very special place in my heart, and it is a genuinely epic storyline. Done over 5 years, it's not episodic like everything else was in those days. And that's why it's always stuck with me, and it's stuck with so many other people. Because it did do far better than I think it ever sort of deserved to, as that sort of forward just said on the back of the DVD case. The odds of it actually making it are really, really slim. But by God, as a fan base on the very, very new and shiny internet, we push bloody hard to make that happen. In the States, where anything could have happened to it. I mean, they very, very nearly didn't get year 5. We nearly had to sort of settle for 4 years. But then we got TV movies, we got Crusade, we get Legend of the Rangers, although albeit not for very long at all. But these things happened. Were there books? Yes, there were books. Look, here is one. There you go. This is the script of a Hugo Award-winning episode of Babylon 5. Hugo's, as I recall, are sort of science fiction versions of Emmys, that sort of thing. It's called The Coming of Shadows. And that's obviously a screenshot from it, but this is the actual script. And it includes an introduction by JMS. I've no idea if this is still in print. I've had it on my shelves for a long time, and perhaps when I watch the episode again, as I go through things again, I'll actually sit and try and read along with it. That might be quite interesting. We also have comic books, and there are books that are what are called canon and books that are non-canon. Books that are canon are ones that have been authorised by JMS as being part of the overarching storyline. So, whilst you only need to watch the TV series to get the storyline, there are other things that also add to it that are considered canon as if they'd been on screen, and that applies across multiple different series as well. That's the general principle. So this is a canon graphic novel in Valen's name. So whilst it deals with what was present day for the series, it also goes further back than that. So I don't want to look at too much of this because obviously it's copyright and all that sort of good stuff. Again, I imagine this is probably available digitally. So you can see this is the, you've got various sort of Minbari ships there, and It's a story that just goes back beyond the present day setting. Because the series did do that. The series went back historically as well in the show's own history. So that's no sort of massive surprise. But this is all just building the universe basically. This one, I think, is another graphic novel. I can't recall if this is canon or not, this one. It is written by J. Michael Straczynski, so I'm assuming that is another example of canon. This sounds like it comes between season 1 and season 2, reading the back blurb. And this is also canon, I believe, as well, this one. With Garibaldi on the cover there. Shadows past and present. So obviously you can have a look for these on Amazon yourself. I'm sure they'll be around in some way, shape or form. In terms of other DVDs, I showed you one of the individual season DVDs box sets there. There's also, now there's this one, this is Crusade. Until I started fishing the other DVDs off my shelf, I didn't actually know I had this. I'd forgotten that I'd bought it, and I was about to buy it again, so it was good timing. The reason I didn't realise I had it is that this is what it says on the spine. Look, you see that? Absolutely nothing. There's Crusade there, right there. That says Crusade, and it's written in the tiniest font you can find across the narrowest part of the spine horizontally. That's not clever, people. Anyway, there it is. That's still sealed, and I shall have a look at that in due course. I might add that to Babblecom 5 playlist at some point, just to add to the length of time I was going to do it all. There was also this. Now, this is The Lost Tales. This came out a long time after the completion of the series originally, and it is vaguely possible that that was as close as we're ever going to get to a reboot. I'm not aware of any official plans for a reboot at the moment, so I just don't know. I just don't know whether or not we'll ever see that. But that was a few sort of quite short snippets of tales that come from after the end of the original series. They just carry on the story a little bit, but I don't know whether that's going to go any further. And I've also got this. Now, this I think came about from emails that I was getting that were advertising various things like the Babylon 5 Encyclopedia, which were quite rare and signed by JMS and so on. Apologies if you can hear the dog in the background. So this is a sort of behind-the-scenes documentary. CNN documents Babylon 5. It's an American documentary, basically. And I think I've watched some of it already, but not quite all of it. But it's really, really fascinating because you can see the incredibly sort of small confines they're actually working in order to try and represent this enormous space station. You know, the juxtaposition is quite bizarre. And I believe the actual set building was just like a sort of a warehouse. It wasn't really supposed to be a set, sort of, you know, filming sort of place at all. And they were next to some sort of waste recycling plant. So how on earth they managed to keep going and get this all on, I don't know. There was a lot of love in this show. I know a lot of shows say that, but I think there genuinely was a lot of love between the cast and everybody else on this show, which was really fortunate. I think they had a lot of luck, and it's terribly, terribly sad that a lot of the people who were involved with it have passed away now. You know, and I think a lot of them were really, really good people. It's a great shame. If you're interested, there are some nice videos around and about the place on YouTube, which are I think it's the National TV Archives, and it seems to be a sort of an American historical series which speaks to people like JMS and Walter Koenig and Bill Mumy, who played Linnea. And they're rather lovely videos. So again, if you want to get a bit more background and sort of what people thought about it and how they came to the show, they're quite interesting to have a look at. Now, these are the eBay auctions I was talking about. This is what came about from them, and these are very, very new additions to my collection of things. So at the time when I was attending the conventions, I went to 2 in 1995, 1997. But I was a poor student then, and I saw these things there. I didn't have the money to buy them, and Now, of course, eBay being what it is, I do have some. So here we have one of 6 sets, I think, total, of Babylon 5 micro machines. Now, these are boxed, and I'm sort of hesitant to open them. If I get any copies, I might have a look and actually open them. I'm not a huge collector of such things, but as they are boxed, it seems a shame to unbox them. So you have a so I slipped the tongue, Freudian slip, Centauri passenger ship. We have a Narn heavy cruiser, and we have an Earth Alliance atmospheric shuttle, which I always rather liked. They were quite good fun, those ones. They're going for about, I got mine for about sort of 15 quid on average, probably. So they're not totally unreasonable. Now, and there were also these. Now, this actually came from a local store, which is local to me, and I got it at the same time as I was getting a Space 1999 Eagle transporter by Dinky, circa 1975, in a box, which is exceptional. I was really lucky to find that, and he doesn't normally stock things that are this new, but this is a local store to me, and to my surprise, he had this on his eBay listings. So this is one of the dolls that was, or action figures, perhaps is a better word for them, that was released for the series. There were quite a number of these. I only have 3 of them. This is just one, obviously. And so this is Susan Ivanova with a Star Fury in the same pack here. Interestingly, she's in her Earth Alliance standard uniform on the front, but on the back, she's in her Interstellar Alliance uniform, which is interesting. Excuse me. And you can see here, this was the range at the time when this came out, but there were far more than those released ultimately. I think I've got Sheridan from there. I've got one that isn't listed there. Which is it was Talia Winters. No, sorry, Lita Alexander. I keep getting those mixed up because I'm seeing Talia at the moment more than I'm seeing Lita. But I mean, that's quite nice as well. There's quite a big figure as figures go. I think it's not sort of tiny by any stretch of the imagination. So it's that's the sort of range of things you could get. There were novels. There were proper out and out novels as well. Unfortunately, I don't have any. I always meant to pick them up, but again, it's just one of those things I just never got round to. Unfortunately, you could probably still find them on places like Amazon and so on as well, if you were minded to. But yeah, if you're having trouble finding them on the streaming service, as I say, you will find the complete universe of the sort of version of this is still out and about and available if you want to get it. And obviously, if you could just wait until I've got everything I need on eBay before you start eBaying as well, that'd be great. And then I won't have to compete with you. So it's a trip down memory lane for me. I mean, I haven't read a lot of the graphic novels for a long time, and I might return to them. And if people are interested, let me know, and I'll do you a more detailed review of them down the line if you'd like. There are loads of places still online which will tell you a lot more about the series than I can possibly hope to manage. I think places like Midwinter and the Lurker's Guide, lots and lots of information out there. Reddit groups, Facebook groups, they're all still active. So if you've got any questions, try those as well. But I would encourage you to keep obviously looking at my videos and comment on them. If you've got any questions or comments about them, if you think the sound quality is rubbish, let me know. I'm doing this with a camera I've temporarily borrowed off my son, because I don't normally do this sort of thing. And I'm just using a mic, obviously, on my videos about the episodes. So I want to go and rescue my dog because he's barking his head off. I hope you've enjoyed this. It's a quick run through of what's out there, and there's more besides. There was also a card trading game. There were a few multimedia CDs that came out for computers. There was never quite a computer game. There nearly was. It never quite made the light of day. I've got a mouse mat from that for promotional material because I was living in Sheffield at the time, and I went to the studios where they were producing it because it was being done in the UK, but unfortunately never quite made it. I think there was a demo, and I think various people have done conversions of other games for Babylon 5 ships and so on, as you might expect. But yeah, so obviously, you use the Google and see what else you can find if you're interested. So thanks for sticking with me, and I'll see you on the next Babblecom 5 video. Cheers.